Welcome everybody to Relative Weddings Explained. This is Aubrey Boyd with my wife, Deidre Boyd.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
And we're going to be explaining each episode and a chapter in more detail and give you some backstories on the way. Hope you enjoy and like it.
Well, here we are in Chapter 3, He's the One. But before we jump into the episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about Fond Recollections, which is advertised at the beginning of each episode. Can you talk a little bit about the company?
Yeah, the company Fond Recollection is a sponsor, and they promote our channel. What they do is they sell memorial plaques for family members or loved ones, even pets. They have over 50 different products. All you do is go to the website, www.fondrecollection.com. That's singular. And there you get your subscription. You pay for your subscription. There you can actually upload all your videos and everything and your text or images on your own landing page. If after that, share it with your family, buy the products, and everything has GPS on it. So once you share your location, everyone in the family can use that location to find your loved one's headstone. Because most people have that problem when you go to a cemetery to see your loved ones, you can't find or remember where they were buried. So this eliminates that problem. All you do is share it with your family member. Once you scan the plaque, share it. Everybody can walk directly to the headstone instead of walking around for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see images of your loved ones, even videos. You can leave a loved one a message, which I think is beautiful. You know, you be remembered in your own way. So Fond Recollections is our sponsor, and their website is www.fundrecollection.com. That's singular.
Nice. Because I've had a map in my glove box of my car for like a decade that tells me how to find somebody. So I totally understand that issue. All right. Well, great. So Chapter 3. I think what we get out of this chapter is just how close Teresa and Judy are, despite their very different personalities. Like every day they talk on the phone, they talk about their day, they talk about what's going on in their lives. And in particular, for this story, they're talking about how they met their fiancés and some of the stories behind their relationships and just kind of how they really came to realize this is the person for me. This is the person I want to marry. So tell us a little bit about, in this episode, because we're going to have another one that has more, but a little bit about what goes on in this episode and what they're talking about.
So in this episode, it starts out with Judy and Teresa discussing their first recollection of how they fell in love, give stories and backgrounds behind, that moment where they realized that they were actually in love with the partner that they were soon to marry. Mm-hmm. These sisters, like my sister, and with as well as me and my sister-in-law, we keep in touch with each other at least once weekly. Yeah. For these two sisters, it's almost daily that they call each other at night after their day has ended, just to, kind of debrief, to have someone to talk to kind of, vent on their frustrations and sometimes their happiness and their joys of the day. So these sisters keep in touch by phone since they don't live close together. Yeah. To kind of tell each other, what's going on, keep them updated. And they're both getting married now. They're proposed to. So their thoughts of the day.
Yeah, and it really tells us a lot about who they are and how close they are. And given some of the things that have gone on in their lives, like with as we talked about before, their biological father, and I know that we learn later on, but that their mother is no longer alive, and so I don't know how long that's been. I don't remember, but I know their stepfather has had a huge hand in raising them and helping to keep them close too.
Yes, their stepfather instilled, you have each other. So if I can't help you, or if I'm not around, your mother's no longer here. So you have each other to keep it, to help you through the good times and the bad times. So they call each other, yes. And even if it's just for a moment.
Okay, so the part that we really can't beat around the bush with here is the story that is told in this episode. This is a pretty wild story to the point where I have to think that this is based on something that really happened.
Unfortunately so.
Because it is, it just seems too much to be made up. So who did this happen to, if you are willing to say?
Oh gosh, this happened to me years and
Oh,
years
boy.
and eons ago.
Yeah.
I can't believe he still remembered it to put it in a book.
How
I
could
don't think anyone can
forget?
forget
How could I
this.
forget that? This close, bro. This close.
Oh my gosh. So this was like our maybe first apartment, second apartment, second apartment that we had. And I had just had my daughter. She was just maybe a year, maybe 2 years old. We were in the military, and this apartment, this was in Norfolk, Virginia, and they were doing maintenance, and all the water was out.
Mm-hmm.
And, staying hydrated, me being a good mom, trying to work out, stay hydrated. I drink a lot of water, and I ate a lot of McDonald's, I think it was. It didn't suit me too well, and I had to use the bathroom. We only had one car back then, and I didn't have a car. So the running water was out, and I had to use the bathroom. And the toilet, I had already used once for number one, and if it's brown, flush it down. But we couldn't flush it down because we didn't have any water.
Oh, no.
And my stomach was bubbling, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. None of my neighbors were home. I couldn't use anyone's bathroom. Nobody had bathroom. So out of the corner of my
Worst case
eye,
scenario.
oh my gosh, corner of my eye, I realized that I had my daughter's potty. So ashamed to tell this story. Had her potty.
That's why that you said I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to say I made
So
it up.
ashamed, so ashamed. Maybe this is not true, but hypothetically,
Yeah.
that was the only place I could use the toilet.
Wow.
And then once I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it?
Because you still don't have water.
Yeah, the potties, you pull the tray out and you're supposed to dump it in the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a toilet to dump it in. And the story goes, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it? So I put it in a bag. And my daughter had woke up, and I forgot to take the bag outside to the dumpster. And by the time Aubrey came home, I tried to keep it quiet. And he was like,
Can't
so
keep
what'd
your
you
nose
cook?
quiet, right?
Yeah, he came, what'd you cook? I didn't cook nothing. And he was like, okay. Then he happened, as he does, he comes in, he changes his clothes, and he's like, well, let me take out the trash because I know you had the baby all day. He took out the trash, and at the top of the trash was that Ziploc bag full of shit. And he was like, what is this? And he lifts the bag up, and he was like, what is this bag of gravy doing in here? Where we get all this?
What the fuck, yo?
Where we get all this gravy from?
Yo, man.
And why is it still warm?
Yo.
He was like, wait a minute.
Yo.
Is this shit?
Yo.
I thought he was going to throw me out the window.
Yo.
He was so mad.
Yo. See, think about it now. It brings back, if I was going to leave, that was the day, B. I was like, you
my
lucky we got a daughter.
God. I was so
Like, you lucky
embarrassed.
we got a daughter. I was going.
I was
I
like,
couldn't do that if we were dating. Couldn't do that if we were dating.
If I would have just thrown it outside.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's the worst time of my life. Man.
I'm so ashamed. Don't tell anybody. Well, it's,
It's
already
in the book.
book.
What are you talking about? It'll be the animation, a movie, all that.
It was so funny because he thought it was a bag of gravy.
Because I was like, I came in
He
the
was like,
apartment. I'm like, what the fuck is that smell?
You didn't make
and the first thing I
anything.
said, like, I know she didn't use that bathroom. I told her don't use it. The guy's going to work on it. I
I
go
had
in
to
there.
go.
I'm like, okay, the toilet ain't nothing in there.
I had
So
to
I
go.
kept walking. I'm like, oh, how the fuck? Go in the back, get a beer. I used to drink beer back then. Man, and then I threw the beer in the trash, and that's when I'm like, who the fuck threw away this good bag of gravy? I'm like, it's still hot. And I'm like, this ain't fucking gravy. It's corn in it. I'm like, you mother, I grabbed the trash, threw it in there, right? Had to spray my apartment down, and then I'm calling her on the cell phone. Back then, I told me people had flip phones. And I was like,
Took it out.
what happened? Did you use it, huh? I'm like, oh.
I tried to deny it.
I was like, I know you did it.
So I like that you didn't go back inside to ask this question. You're on the phone.
Yeah, I was so
Outside
pissed,
saying
man.
what
I
happened.
opened up windows.
It took me a while to go home too. He had to
She
calm
took
down.
the long way, B. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, you talking about, if you know somebody love, if they stay after that, they gotta love you.
That's love. That's love.
Yep,
True story.
That fits right in with the knowing how someone is the one. And yes, you already had a child together, so I hope you all knew that you were the one for each other. But those are the kind of stories where it's like, yeah, if you stay together after those things, then you are meant for
plus
each
you're
other.
married. Having a child don't mean you got to stay, but married, yeah, you need to.
After
You
that.
know what I mean? It's gonna say. At that point in marriage, you're not even fighting around each other. You still, you know what I'm saying?
It's the honeymoon stage.
Right?
Yeah.
There's still mystery.
Yeah. After 30 years being, it's no mystery.
Right. I'd say after that day, there
After
wasn't a
that
lot of
day.
mystery.
I looked at her differently.
In a good way.
True.
Well, I did want to also mention in this episode, we'll move away from that part.
Thank you.
We'll not close on that. We'll end with talking about the music in this episode. I noticed there was some interesting music. Could you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. All the music for the audiobooks, I do the soundtrack. So
Yeah.
I just try to make it go, with the mood, the scene, because that was some comical. That was comic, and it is a romantic comedy. So I wanted to make sure the music fit the scene or the mood.
Yes.
The mood as well, so that's what I did. I did it throughout.
Well, it definitely does. This one I noticed there was a good deal of music throughout the series, and it all helps to really build that mood for the story.
I want to make it close as possible that you can envision it in your mind.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us with Relative Weddings Explained. So if you could just please assist us by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel, and it means a lot to us. That's going to be it for now. Until next time, remember you are cherished by us.